go in with that mindset, knowing I'm good. You know, that belief grows. And hopefully for Daniel, that's exactly what happens, because he's got... I mean, I just asked you, actually. I mean, he was talking there about he needs to be better. Does he? Because that was so good. I mean, isn't it more about repeating that level?
No, what it is layers. We know what we did. Although we were very successful against Anthony Joshua, we knew what we did wrong. I'm not going to share it with you guys. We knew
it didn't look like he did much.
Well, from a training point of view, with our eyes, we know what we did wrong. The areas we need to correct those areas, because the opposition, like Parker's team, will be looking at that. And Andy Lee, whom I respect highly as a coach, attention to detail, he'll be spotting certain things, and we have to make sure that the areas that I believe the few mistakes we made, we have to rectify them going into the Parker fight and build another layer. And I've been telling people that Daniel Dubois, when I got him, what my discovery whilst working with Daniel, I realized this kid has only been operating something like 45% capacity of his capability or ability. And we bolted him for the Joshua fight. He probably raised it to 60%. That's what you're seeing there. And there's more layers to go on top of from what we're
doing. And those are the words of Don Charles. And he admitted that, hey, we made a lot of mistakes in the AJ fight. Even with the 65% capacity that we've raised him from the 45%, because basically he was admitting there was a lot of work to be done when Daniel came into the camp. Okay. And my counterpunch to that is, I like the, admittance. I can dig it. I can understand someone just admitting like, yo, this is what we did wrong. We didn't do that. That wasn't a perfectly, carefully planned out game plan. Okay, we didn't execute that like we supposed to, and yeah, I'm not going to tell you what it is, right? But I know the things. If you really look at that fight between Anthony Joshua and Daniel Dubois, the things that Dubois did, I just don't understand why Joshua didn't capitalize on more. I know the jab was authoritative. Okay, he had a very powerful jab that kept Joshua resetting, thinking, and eluding. However, it wasn't an impossible jab to really dictate, even though if you notice, Dubois comes in with the jab. He comes in with the jab. Okay, so since he comes in with that jab, it's more like, okay, and he catches you, bow, and he caught it. But then here's the thing. When he catches you with that jab, he has he does a little foot movement to the left and to the right. Well, in the fifth round, obviously, if they did everything that they supposed to done, Danny Dubois would have got hit with those right hands. Ultimately, those right hands caused AJ to open up because he had success, and ultimately, he got knocked out. However, he wouldn't have got hit with those punches if Daniel Dubois was doing what he's supposed to do. You see what I mean? I think that's what Don Charles is talking about, the double jab that Dubois has. That's an easy counter. Okay, that's that Floyd Mayweather pull counter. And we've seen Anthony Joshua do that 4 years ago against Pulev, because Pulev had a tricky-ass jab, and AJ was already prepared for it. And that's what I can't wrap my head around. Like, listen, what's up with AJ couldn't do that? But that's another video for another day. However, yes, those were things that, they need to correct. Other things I'm sure, but I know that one in particular, that wasn't supposed to happen. That left guard supposed to be up to counter that right hand or head movement to anticipate a right hand coming from AJ. AJ just wasn't sitting down on that right hand, or he wasn't evolving the punch for a right hook, because that's probably the punch he should have thrown. You know what I mean? Instead of that straight. Because he wasn't executing that right hand for that counter, because that was the counter. That double jab counter. You expect that counter. Double jab counter. Expect that counter. And he wasn't doing that. So I know that's one of those things. But no, I appreciate Don Charles for admitting, like, yo, there's a lot of work to be done. I can't and we can't take Joseph Parker lightly. Because like I've said, people, Joseph Parker has a secret weapon. And that secret weapon is royalty. Boxing training royalty. Andy Lee. Okay. See, Andy Lee was a guy that a lot of people don't know him as a fighter. He was one hell of a fighter. Yes, he got beat by guys like Julio Cesar Chavez Jr., guys like that, because he couldn't get that right hook off. But that right hook was something special. If he caught you with that right hook, you would know. You know who you guys are that got caught with the right hook, because he was one hell of a fighter. But I think he's just as good as a trainer because he learned from the best. He was trained from the best. Therefore, he learned from the best. Emmanuel Stewart. Okay. He slept. He stayed. He lived with Emmanuel Stewart. Okay, so listen, Andy Lee, the way he prepared Joseph Parker for Deontay Wilder, you think he won't do that with Daniel Dubois based on the material that he's obtained, based on what he knows, the capabilities of Daniel Dubois and what he can do? You think Joseph Parker won't be ready? Joseph Parker will be better than ready. Okay, Joseph Parker has a good chance of upsetting Daniel Dubois, and I've said it here first. Everybody's on that Danny Dubois train. I know the boy's dangerous. He's a growing man and he's learning and learning. But what has he learned versus what Joseph Parker already knows and will be training for on the night to fight him on February 22nd? Okay, so we have to understand what the task at hand is. And like Don Charles knows, that's his job. Listen, I know what Andy Lee's going to do because I know what Andy Lee's about. He's about detail. And he knows that, listen, we have to be in there. Because one thing I know for sure, Andy Lee showed us all, this is how you follow a game plan to execute the game plan to get the win. And he did it against Deontay Wilder. Okay? He did it against Deontay Wilder, and he's growing and showing. They kept their calm, and they've won 5 fights back to back. Not easy fights as well. Think about those. Think about that. Okay. You had Wilder. You had Zhang. Now you have Dubois. Bro, you got 3 power punches right there. 3 power punches. And they beat them all. Okay, well, except for Daniel. You know what I mean? So he's the 3rd power puncher. Younger, maybe stronger, bigger. We know that Joseph Parker's picking up weight. So, we'll see what happens with that. But understand, Don Charles knows, look, I'm in there with more than just Joseph Parker. I'm in there with someone that's training Joseph as well. I'm in there with Team Parker. Okay, and he knows and respects what Andy Lee has done for Joseph Parker, and he and his pupil have to be ready. But you guys tell me what you think of Don Charles admitting that they made mistakes in the AJ fight. He's not going to tell you. Of course, please subscribe. And you guys been Counterpunched.